What's good, everybody? It is Tony the Savant. We are live again. And before we get started, please like this video, share this video, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content and going live on the channel. As well, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel as I drop content daily, go live daily. We stay busy on this platform. And uh, last but not least, please leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section, as I'm always interested to know what you all have to say about these topics. And ladies and gentlemen, we have the first season of the NFL 2024-25 season in the books, as it was an epic finish last night. A play that literally came down to the wire. And I got another recap that I'm dropping about this video, just talking about, kind of like a couple plays. Now, I know that we can easily go through the tape and find a lot of plays. I've been seeing a lot of people crying online about the refs and all that. And look, y'all, look, I'm gonna tell y'all like I tell, a lot of people, my contemporaries. We can go through every game and find missed calls because the illegal formations on the Baltimore Ravens. Uh, Ronnie Stanley, I think he got like two or three of them. And the Baltimore Ravens were in illegal formation. It was that you could have called that call on them a lot more often than just 3 or 4 times that they got called, for that penalty. So it works both ways. Everybody's posting the clips of the missed calls in favor of the Chiefs, but the Ravens got some missed calls as well. So I don't really want to, me personally, uh, sorry, I'm really trying to pull up these tab real quick. But I don't really want to focus solely on the referees because, I mean, me personally, man, at this point, as a sports fan, I've seen it all when it comes to these referees. And no doubt, no doubt at all that they miss a lot of calls. Sometimes it's just really crazy, the stuff that they miss. But to be honest, again, if you look through the tape, there was missed calls on both sides. They could have called illegal formation on the Ravens hundreds of more times. Hold on, guys. I'm just pulling up the stat sheet so we can get into the bag. Well, to me, man, it was a good game. Definitely came down to the wire. Literally, this game came down to the last play as Isaiah Likely pulled in a uh, a beautiful pass that was delivered by Lamar Jackson. But the play, but his foot, I ain't gonna say foot, literally his toe, end up being out of bounds, and that's how the game ended. But it was a beautiful fourth down drive by the Baltimore Ravens. But ultimately came up short, and the Kansas City Chiefs win this game 27-20. And we'll go over the box scores real quick. For the losing team, Lamar Jackson went 26 of 41 for 273 yards, one touchdown. He was sacked one time, and I also believe he had one fumble as well. Um, on the carries, Lamar Jackson led the way with 16 carries for 122 yards. He was just running all over the place, man. Derrick Henry had 13 carries for 46 yards. Also had a touchdown on the evening. Um, Zay Flowers had 2 carries for 14 yards. Isaiah Likely led the way for the receivers. And as far as fantasy football go, already then, put my bid in for Isaiah Likely. Oh, excuse me, y'all. Good morning, everybody. I'm just getting up myself. But he had 9 catches for 111 yards and one touchdown. His biggest play of the night was a 49-yard touchdown that really rejuvenated the offense for the Baltimore Ravens. As before that pass, they were very stagnant, in my opinion. Justice Hill and Zay Flowers both had 6 catches apiece. Um, Justice had 52 yards. Zay Flowers had 37. It felt like he had a couple more yards, but the defenses were all over Zay last night. Baltimore definitely really. I mean, I like Rashawn Bateman, and of course, I do like Isaiah Likely as well. But Zay Flowers is going to need a little bit more help. The defenses are just draping all over him because he's the only real threat, I guess you want to say, for Baltimore. But he's just not. He's an undersized. I don't say undersized. He's one of the smaller wide receivers, so it's difficult for him to make the big athletic plays that he needs to make. But nonetheless, the defense for this team, Baltimore Ravens, was good when it needed to be good, but it was not great. Of course, giving up 27 points to begin the season is not good, especially considering that they were all-time great last season. Last season's Baltimore Ravens defense was right was kind of was not better than Ray Lewis's Baltimore Ravens defense, but right there, a notch under them by just the slimmest margins, but just on par with that. And definitely impressive in this era, and it's very offense happy. That Baltimore Ravens defense was able to do what they was doing, but they look like they're gonna miss Pat Queen. Yeah, that's what I'm sorry, Patrick Queen. I forget the other person that departed, but this defense lost a couple key guys in off season, so I was very interested to see what they were going to look like on the field this year. As the NFL stands for not for long, man. So if you're good this year, that doesn't guarantee anything for you next year. But the defense did give up 27 points. Namdi Matabuke got extended this offseason. He had a half a sack. Trenton Simpson also put up a half a sack. Uh, David Ajabo put up a sack as well. Who got that interception? I forget who got the interception. Raquan Smith. Yeah, there we go. Raquan had a interception for the evening as well. Very impressive snag on his part. Okay, I was gonna say they don't show the interceptions. Come on, ESPN. For the Kansas City Chiefs side of the football, though, that's essentially everything we needed to see there for the Baltimore Ravens. For the Chiefs offense, just the Chiefs as well as a whole, they did their thing again, man. We can go through the tape and find a lot of missed calls on both sides of the football this game. Me personally, I sift through some of the tape before I fell asleep last night. I was going to go live last night, but I sift through some of the tape, and you can easily find a lot of plays with that illegal formation again that was called on Ronnie Stanley multiple times. You could call that at least 3, 4 more times, and that would have probably just made the game even more dreadful than it had to be. But for everyone that's out there, that has a gripe about the referees making calls in favor or whatever, missing calls in favor of the Kansas City Chiefs, just want you to have some objectivity. I don't want to start that because it's going to damper this game. This was actually a good game compared to what we usually get from referees. This was a lot better. So, but Patrick Mahomes went 20 of 28 for 291 yards, one touchdown, one interception. Isaiah Pacheco, he really showed up this evening. Not really big production on the floor, as he only had 45 yards with his 15 carries. But Isaiah Pacheco was just getting a lot of first downs, a lot of check down passes. Was a security blanket for Patrick when he got into a bit of a bind, as this offense was still trying to figure things out. Had not a lot of, well, I'm gonna say a lot, but with Xavier Worthy being a new addition, of course, it's the first game of the season. Isaiah Pacheco was very good. Again, security blanket for Patrick Mahomes, but he had 15 carries, 45 yards. He doesn't really read. Also, a touchdown score. It doesn't really read on the paper, but he was very effective this game. Xavier Worthy, the young rookie taken in the draft by the Chiefs, impressed everyone with his combine numbers, as he is now the fastest man in the world, at least in the NFL. Xavier Worthy had a big night, as he had one carry for 21 yards. Also, that 21 led to a score. Also, Xavier Worthy on the receiving side of the football, two catches, 47 yards, and another score there. So not a lot of production. That's what a rookie stat sheet is going to look like more times than not. But Xavier definitely did his thing. Very impressive. Patrick Mahomes rushed the ball 2 times for 3 carries. For the receivers, Rashid Rice was very big this evening. Looks like a Super Bowl winning wide receiver. As he was another security blanket for Patrick Mahomes all night. Pat went to him a lot. In fact, as many times as Rashid Rice got the ball, I was expecting for Travis Kelce to get those targets, but Travis Kelce kind of clocked in late, was able to get into action. Rashid Rice has 7 receptions for 103 yards. Oh, the little ones are waking up. Xavier Worthy had 2 catches for 47 yards. Noah Gray, 3 catches for 37 yards. Travis Kelce, 3 catches for 34 yards. Again, Isaiah Pacheco, I thought he had more catches than this, but he only had 2 for 33 yards. Justin Watson made a big play, 1 catch for 25 yards. Samaje Perine had a catch for 5 yards, for 10 yards. Excuse me. I was expecting a little bit more from Samaje Perine in the running game, but I guess they just really found something clicking with Isaiah Pacheco. Also, Patrick Mahomes got a catch on a deflected pass. On a deflected pass, it was really funny, and I didn't mind it because Patrick Mahomes is my uh, fantasy quarterback, so it racked up a little extra point for me. But it was a funny play altogether. The defense of the Baltimore Ravens deflected the pass up in the air, and they was able to catch the ball. Patrick Mahomes was able to catch it before the defense got to it. But the defense for this team, not very much to see here. As they only were able to get 1 sack on what's my guy name? Excuse me. I'm sorry, guys. I'm blanking a little bit. It was only to get 1 sack on Lamar Jackson, and that was by Chris Jones. Chris Jones was terrorizing, that offensive line for the Baltimore Ravens all evening. But Lamar Jackson was able to find gaps and able to take off running all night long. I mean, it was to the point where I thought the Kansas City Chiefs should assign a spy to Lamar Jackson exclusively, because and literally whenever he needed to, whatever he wanted to, he was taking off for a big gain on the floor. Um, and my only thing about that is that Lamar Jackson, man, is starting to look like, to me, I always like to make my basketball references a bit, but it looks like Luka out there, Luka Doncic, as far as just Lamar Jackson doing everything. I don't know if that's a sustainable strategy, and there's nothing to take away from him. I think that Lamar Jackson is a dynamic player, but the the message, the mo for the running quarterback is eventually you got to sit back and be a pocket quarterback. And, he wasn't really able to do that too much. Of course, he did go 26 for 47. 26 or 41. So not bad, on that end. But in a game like that, I'd rather Lamar Jackson kind of let Derrick Henry and who was their backup, Justice Hill. You got to let them do a little bit more work. Now the rushing defense uh, for the Kansas City Chiefs was fairly impressive outside of Lamar Jackson. But to be frank, I don't like Lamar Jackson doing all this. This has been my concern about Lamar Jackson for years now. I don't really agree with him having to be the lead rusher and the lead passer for this team to find success. I don't think that's a sustainable strategy. Looks good on paper. It looks good when counting up the MVP votes, and you look in Lamar Jackson's way, of course. But is it going to result in wins? Because this is not the first time this has happened. Where Lamar had to just be the ultimate producer for the offense and end up not working and not being an effective strategy for the Baltimore Ravens to get a victory. That's my only real qualm with that. And of course, I think that Derrick Henry needs a lot more touches. They went to him early and often this game, but with just 13 carries in the game, what is that? Almost less than 4 carries a quarter, no, less than 3 carries a quarter. Just about 3 carries a quarter. That's not going to do it, man. You got to get the ball to D. Henry and Justice Hill, at least a couple more times. And I felt like the Baltimore Ravens, man, they added Derrick Henry, but not much else. You need more receivers to choose from. I say you need at least a solid big three, and not including Mark Andrews. You know what I mean? Mark Andrews is a great receiving touch tight end, but he's coming off his injury, and I don't think that you can just sit there and rely on him. The whole game. If you're looking to win, you need three legitimate wide receivers, maybe two tight ends, and at least in the receiving running back as well. But at the same time, yeah, I just don't like that strategy for Lamar Jackson. And I felt like the Baltimore Ravens was trying to get their get back, of course, for the AFC Championship loss. I felt like they was really trying to stick to their bread and butter this time, as when the run game didn't work out for them in the AFC Championship game, they totally abandoned it. And they tried to get Lamar to fling the ball to a win. That strategy really wasn't sustainable either. I think that it might just be Lamar Jackson's Achilles heel. That he's not a passing quarterback. We've seen this movie before. Mike Vick kind of struggled with that as well. And he's the leading running back in NFL history. I mean, as far as rushing yards go, he leads the NFL history books in rushing yards. So that formula really didn't work out for Mike Vick. I don't think it's going to work out for Lamar. But it's fun to watch. It is fun to watch, to see Lamar Jackson doing his thing on both sides of the football as a dual threat. Derrick Henry, again, I just need a little bit more production from him. Of course, you run up against the Super Bowl champions, your first game as a Ravens. They plan for Derrick Henry. I'm positively sure. It seemed that way anyway. But I need a little bit more production from D. Henry. Not mad at what we got out of him this game, but of course, think that you got to do more. You got this. Not They didn't bring you on to this team to be racking up less than 70, 80 yards. You need that. Maybe even 100. D. Henry, I don't know how much he has left in the tank at 30 years old. Running backs, they say NFL players get older than all the other athletes, but running backs get older faster than than a typical NFL player. So it's going to be interesting to see what he's able um, to do to relieve some of that pressure off of Lamar Jackson and this Baltimore Ravens offense. Uh, I forget the coordinator's name for the Ravens. It's slipping my name right now, but I'm not mad at his play calling again. You just got to do some. They got to get more elaborate plays. Every time a play breaks down. You can't afford to have Lamar Jackson running for his life. Um, and maybe I'm even want to give a little caveat that maybe the Kansas City Chiefs said that we will allow Lamar Jackson to run. We're not gonna let him beat him with his arm and beat them with his arm. But as Lamar Jackson racks up 3,000 yards on the ground rushing, and you get and it results in losses. Yes, impressive are the numbers, but we're here to win, and the Baltimore Ravens are a championship. One of those franchises that expect championships. Excuse me. You can't really do the whole pushing this shiny toy called an MVP in their face, and then they're going to be satisfied with that. But again, I'm not mad at Lamar. I'm not upset. It's just the strategy's got to be different for the coaching. John Harbaugh and company got to really figure that out. The defense again too. I'm not too upset with them. They missing some big pieces. I think Pat Queen is one of the best in the business. So, you got to fill in for him. That's a lot of production that you got to find in a little bit of time. As far as the Kansas City Chiefs go, man, they look good. They look like they was clicking. A little rushed, To be frank, they look like they're a little rusty, but I think every team is going to look like going to look like that the first 2-3 weeks or so. Everybody getting back into game shape, getting back into game mentality. So, not really upset with anything that really happened on the Chiefs side of the ball. Um, and, I think them finding this guy Xavier Worthy and using him as the gadget guy, using his speed, to their full advantage. I think that's going to be something dangerous, and this is without Hollywood Brown, ladies and gentlemen. their their arguably best receiver has not even clocked in yet. So you getting Rashee Rice, picking up where he left off from the Super Bowl run. You got this young man Xavier Worthy, who's going to be what it looks to be their gadget guy, and uh, they're down the distance, down the field type guy. Travis Kelsey, he didn't look rusty. He still has some orange in the juice, some juice in the orange, excuse me. But that's all on this one, man. I'm gonna come back and recap this a little bit more later. Um, get on to these kiddos. They're starting to get up, but good win for the Kansas City Chiefs. Very impressive. That defense bent, but they did not break. They did give up that last touchdown, man. It was only because Isaiah Likely's toe was out of bounds that he wasn't able to get the completion on that touchdown. So that Kansas City Chiefs defense gonna have to figure some things out as well. Now that L'Jarius Sneed isn't there, and Trent McDuffie can't guard everybody. But please like this video, share this video, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content and going live on the channel as well. If you haven't already, please subscribe as I drop content daily, go live daily, stay very busy on the platform. And last but not least, please leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section, as I'm always intrigued to know what you all got to say about these topics. I am Tony the Savant. Peace.